Hey everyone. Hi. So, this is entirely a different sort of show than I normally do, but I figure I'll take a page out of Red's book. Just a huge ass page out of Red's book. Which I know is silly. It's silly to take a page out of Red's book, but that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a page out of Red's book. This is Alch Gets Ready for Adventure, which I'm realizing that most of our show names are Somebody Does a Thing. And that is behind. Wonderful. Because it should be way up here. There we go. So, a couple things. One, I really enjoy playing Pathfinder. The king of RPGs. That's not entirely true. But I am very fond of the Pathfinder RPG. Now, I like other RPGs as well. Don't get me wrong. But, I do very much enjoy RPGs. That's what I like. They're a thing I enjoy in my heart. Okay. So, I also enjoy them not in my heart. That's how this works. So what I'm working on here, I run an after-school program where I teach kids how to play the Pathfinder RPG. Very straightforward how that works. This is our class folder. Really just a folder filled with everything that they're going to need. I need to fill in some of the gaps here. That's kind of what you guys are going to be watching me do. I can't put every window I use up just because it's kind of... There's some that I don't want screen caps to exist of. That's how it is. But I can still use some of the, what do you call them? I can still use some of the things and use those to, I'm trying to find the right words here. Use those to get, there we go. My brain is not working very well tonight. I don't know about you, but my brain is not enjoying this. I mean, it's enjoying this. I love doing this. My favorite thing to do. But brain is just acting up like hell. So for the kids, this is the thing I use, so that when it comes time for them to make a new character, they don't have to go, Mr. Alch, Mr. Alch. What do we use? They can go, hey, I have this thing. I want to play this idea. And it's up to them to figure out how to play that idea. I do realize that it's weird that if you're coming here because you see this in, like, the how-to section, that I'm going to essentially show you how to do things related to Pathfinder. So, first thing is I have broken down the classes into 9 roles. And thing is, every class has multiple roles. If your class does not have multiple roles, you're classing wrong. That's just how it is. I think I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer. There we go. Sorry about that. So, first off, you have your blasters. They're your... Typically, your wizards are going to fall into this category. For some reason, it is not letting me highlight that particular line. A little pissed off about that. Come on. Why you no let me highlight line? Weird. Okay, I think it's because of the size of the window. Let me scooch that out a little bit. Nope, it's just my program acting up. It is what it is. Big thing. You're writing or you're doing art. Save often. Don't care who you are. Save often. Think, man, should I save? Yes. Save often. Think, I don't know what saving would do for me right. I'm going to tell you right now. Save often. How it works. Alright. So I see we have some people in the chat. Who are you? I see you hiding there. Come on in. Say hi. Okay, so. Blasters, defenders, they're your tanks, face. Remember, this is a tabletop RPG. There's going to be more than just DPS, tank, AoE, and heals. Ah, Mountain Dew. Very helpful. Gotta drink Mountain Dew when you're doing anything RPG related. It's tradition, unless you're diabetic. Then you die. So don't drink Mountain Dew if you're diabetic. It's a terrible idea. Now, faces, they're in charge of talking. It says so right here. What they do. Healers, they heal. You'll notice that a lot of healers also have either utility or support. Which is why in a lot of games, like a certain shooter that we're playing all the time on this dang channel, you're going to notice that there are... oh, hey, Grass Cheese. You're going to notice that there are called support if they heal, typically. I have a lot of homework too, Grass Cheese. I can't blame you. But this is technically homework for being a teacher. We're going to get to the Bard in a moment, JT, don't worry. Librarian, they know all the stuff. Scout, they're sneaky. Strike, do a bunch of damage to typically one enemy, maybe two enemies at a time. Support boosts, utility, does cool shit. Alright. Now, a couple things. I use a lot of third party. Not every GM is going to use a lot of third party. You're also going to notice that I've broken down the classes in a different way than Pathfinder typically does, because I'm trying to make this more beginner-friendly at the front of the book, and less beginner-friendly at the back of the book. Very important. I shouldn't say book, it's a folder. It's a big purple folder I bring into the kids. But I haven't really updated it in a year, and I want to do it. The Witch and the Bard are both in here in section number 2 or 3. So, first off, we have our example class. This is the class that does not exist. This is the class. This is how all the classes are set up in this book. Now, when we get to some, I'm going to walk you guys through this, and then you're going to see me filling in things on the classes we don't have done. And these are typically newer classes I don't have done yet. So this is class. The source, what book you can get it out of. The italics, little introduction story. The roles, what roles it is. What books. I still do this for kids. The point is to be educational. So I will suggest books, comics, and movies for them to read and or watch to expand their thing. I am a teacher. I am a substitute teacher, though I did just get my California teaching credential. But my favorite job, besides being on YouTube, of course, or making games, or writing books, my fourth favorite job is teaching kids how to play Pathfinder, and teaching them through playing Pathfinder, and we sometimes do other games. Kids did great at Pandemic about 3 weeks ago. I was very proud of those guys. And we actually might have a girl joining us again. Like this time last year, the group was all girls. This time it's all boys. I don't know what's up with that. Play complexity and off-table complexity. You want to be a wizard, you want to crush everything beneath your giant fiery heel, and then you get the spell list and you shit yourself. That's off-table complexity. Play complexity, on the other hand, that's the barbarian. You know the barbarian's very static off-table, but during the table it's like, okay, I have this bonus, and now 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 I have this bonus. That's play complexity. Like barbarian, high play complexity, low off-table complexity with the right build. Wizard, typically the other way around. Low play complexity, a lot of off-table complexity. You want to play a simple character? Go low in both. You want to be an in-depth character, very strategic? You go high in both. Main ability scores, so you can min-max if you want to. Play this class if you want to. Do 3 things, and I give them 2 or 3 bullet points. This is our example. I always have an example character. This is Randall the stick figure. He's the example for the class. These are where we put archetypes and racial archetypes. Sometimes I put in builds if there's not enough archetypes to fill it out, so Wizard has that, the Akashic classes all have that, etc. Alright. This is the way it was split up. I need to redo the table of contents because I just changed how it was split up. Scrolling down. For some reason, this page is just the end of the table of contents. Here we go. Basic classes. Base classes. 4 classes. We have our Cleric. What these are is these are the 4 classes that every other class is built off of by 1, 2, or 3 steps. And I came to realize that, of course, these are the classes every class is built off of. Because, wouldn't you realize it, those were the first 4 classes to come out in the original D&D. Not entirely true. Cleric was, like, later, but still. That's where we're at. We have the Cleric, who can fill any of these roles. Blaster, Defender, Face, Healer, Support, Utility. Books to read. Cleric Quintet, Monkey, A Folktale of China. Play complexity is a 2, off tables a 3. Here is Kira, your standard Pathfinder iconic. Not all the example pictures are going to be the iconics, because again, I have to show these to children. It's like the Oracle and the Witch, I had to change their picture. So we have that. And then we have our archetypes, and archetypes on this guy, on the cleric actually has not bled over yet, but it will. I know it will. The scale for complexity is 1 to 5. So that is something to keep in mind. See a 5, super hard to play. See a 1, super easy to play. The thing is, if you're watching this, you're probably at least 13, because YouTube terms of service. Probably an adult if you watch my channel, in all honesty. So, with that in mind, you're probably going to be okay. We have Fighter, and you'll notice the first big thing with the Fighter, I include the Unchained rules. These kids were playing with a lot of my house rules. Not the super complex ones, and Red and Yvonne can tell you how complex I used to go with house rules. I'm pretty simple by comparison now. There was a while there we were playing entirely different games when we played D&D. However, I do use the Unchained rules. You're not 6, Grass Cheese, you lie. Unless you were born on a leap year. Pathfinder Unchained was a book that came out last year. It had a bunch of optional rules. I do include the stamina rules for free for all fighters. And suggestions for fighters: read Beowulf, read The Fellowship of the Rings, pay attention to Gimli, read A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Good things. Here's your standard Belleros, your standard human fighter, your archetypes. Nice part about having a bunch of optional rules like Akashic, Psionics, Psychic Magic, and Martial Maneuvers. You get a lot of ways to mess with the fighter. You get a shit ton of ways to mess with the fighter. It's still like mountains of homework with me, I'll be honest about that. Red in the chat is mentioning how it used to be like doing homework. And that's why I started making this folder, was I didn't want to give kids the feeling of they're doing homework. Like, I kind of enjoyed torturing Red and Yvonne with it, but when it comes to the kids, I don't want them to be completely overwhelmed. So this is the simple presentation before they get hit with the numbers. Because that's the reason I put the archetypes here, and I explain this to them. This is for where the stuff you think this is close, you look here to see if there's something that fits closer. And then, of course, the racial archetypes, which I'm thinking I need to make a page of nothing but here are the racial combos. Red, I know you do research for fun now, so do I. Of course, I guess I always did. Except I always did game research for fun. Oh well. Yeah, if you were playing in a game with me, or if you were watching one of my games, when we get around to doing the game... I say the game show, our normal show is a game show. You know what I mean. If you saw somebody playing a Foehammer, you know a Foehammer is a dwarven fighter. In order to play a Foehammer, you have to be both a dwarf and a fighter. Now, there is the adopted trait for humans, which means you could play a human half-orc or half-elf who was adopted by dwarves and then play a Foehammer. But you get the idea. Okay. Rogues. Of course you're going to have rogues. The ones I always suggest, read The Hobbit and read Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Burglar by Maurice Leblanc. The two greatest ones ever. We use the Unchained Rogue. Unchained Rogue is just Rogue, but better. That's how it is. Here's Mauriciel, our standard elf rogue. Again, in a bit, you're going to see the ones I had to replace it with. I even made up new names for them so they wouldn't get confused. Wizards. I do like to mention that since wizards are scholarly, I do mention in a lot of the stuff I write up for wizards, there's stuff they remember from university or multiversity. Because, I mean, what's the main thing we all think of with wizards? The two most popular series about... Well, three most popular series about wizards, but I'm going to leave Harry Dresden out of this. The two most popular are the Unseen University stuff from Terry Pratchett, and of course, Harry Potter. We always think of wizards with schools. That's how it is. In fact, I even mentioned one of the Unseen University books, the Harry Potter books, and that Hermione counts as a wizard for what you're looking at. Elminster, Making of a Mage, and Swords and Devilry by Fritz Leiber. It's all very much wizards. And here's where you see, I mentioned there's some differences. There's not enough archetypes for a wizard to really fill out. At least there wasn't originally. And I still have to drop the text size here. Because every other page it's supposed to be 10, and I have it on 11 on some of the pages, because that was the old format. But here we go. We have... Here's all the different types of ones you can be. And I gave names to the ones that didn't have official names. Because what's the goddamn point? You don't say, oh, I'm a wizard of admixture. No, you're an admixer. Oh, I'm a generation wizard. Yeah, you're a generator. No, Baloo, Peter. Um, good for you, Red. Share when you're done. No, Peter, I did not include Gandalf because though Gandalf is a wizard, he is a wizard in the old form of the word, which is wise man. He's closer to the three guys who showed up with baby Jesus. Really, Gandalf is a lot closer to how a sorcerer works, or an oracle. Or if you were to use the Monster Classes books by Dreamsguard Press, you had Pit and Pinnacle, you could play a Trumpet Archon incredibly close to Gandalf. By the way, you know how hard it is to find out what wood means? It took me like at least 12 whole minutes, and that was annoying 12 minutes, to find the word Xylo for Xylomancer. It was annoying. It was fun to get it done, but it was annoying. So yeah, if you're playing with the Advanced Player's Guide, and Ultimate Magic, these are the types of wizards you can play, and we play with those, so these are the types of wizards they can play. There you go. And we do include the Dragonkin from Midgard Publishing. So we have Dragonkin Elementalists, we have Spellbinders, and my favorite one's the Spellhammer, which is because there was a book of here's a bunch of general templates you can apply to any class, and I realized that one of them, called the Spellhammer, just makes so much more sense with a dwarf than anything else. What's a dwarven wizard going to be? He's going to be a Spellhammer with Terramancy. An earth specialist guy who channels magic into a hammer and just starts slamming spells into people. Tell me that doesn't sound badass. Now we're at core classes. The core classes are one step removed. Two of the classes in here I still have to move up to advanced classes, which are 2 steps removed. Here we go. First one, Alchemist. Or as we called it, the Wizard with Science. Wizard but Science. Go read Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Mistborn Trilogy, or Reanimator. Actually, I think it's Herbert West Reanimator, isn't it? Darn it, that has been wrong for over a year. Herbert West Reanimator, of course, by H.P. Lovecraft, was what the movie Reanimator was based off of. Dude finds out how to bring the dead back to life, but they all end up pissed because you brought the dead back to life. Jekyll and Hyde, everyone knows Jekyll and Hyde. The Mistborn Trilogy, there's a lot of potion shit in there. But yeah, that's the Alchemist for you. Potion shit. Bombs, poisons, other chemical reagents. Mutate yourself and others into terrifying monsters. Heal the wounds of the world with the power of medicine. Of course, again, your archetypes, your racial archetypes. If I'm going to point out a racial archetype here, another one of the ones I got from the Universal Archetype book, they had one, I don't think it was actually called a Snakebiter, I think it was called a Black Whip. But I realized calling it a Snakebiter made so much more sense. Applying the whip powers onto an alchemist and ripping out its bombs. And giving that to the drow. So I just want you to imagine a bunch of drow alchemists with, like, poison whips ended with razors, super strength potions, invisibility potions, badass. Yeah, I see people are making the Edward joke. And I'm just going to say this, Peter. The Advanced Bestiary has the rules to make that happen. And I might make it happen if you don't stop pissing me off. I'm gonna make you get fused with your dog, Louie. Stop it. Alright. Oh, of course, I also decided for the Snakebiter, you have to add the spell Whip of Spiders to the Alchemist list. Because I just want you to imagine for a moment. Just imagine this drow alchemist in tight black leather, opening a vial filled with spiders, swinging it to the ground, and it turns into a whip made of thousands of tiny black spiders. And every time she hits you, they break off and crawl all over your skin and start biting you. Now, there's 2 ways you can look at that. Either, oh god, that's terrifying, get it away from me, or, can I play this? I want to play this. Can I play this? That's what I like to do. I will admit, some of my ideas come off a little Dark Soulsy. I will grant you that one, Grass Cheese. Okay, Barbarian. Barbarian is fighter, but angry. You know what? I realize I mentioned how its play complexity was high. Most Barbarian builds are not. There are some that are, but most are not. Silvamiri. Red, write that, and I want to see it. Thank you. Armored Hulks, Elementalkin. I will admit, there is... Oh, I left one out of here. I left the Drunken Rager out, because again, this is for kids. So I don't want them playing a character who's just constantly pounding back booze. In my own home games, yeah, we're gonna play a guy who pounds back booze. Hateful Ragers are fun, because they are racist half-orc barbarians. JT, you're too ace for drunk barbarians? Or for what Red's talking about? Okay. The Bard! Who was it wanted the Bard? JT wanted the Bard. The Bard we made two arguments with. One was Wizard but Sneaky. And one was Rogue but with songs. Okay, it's Red that's causing it. So I'm okay, JT? We cool? We're cool? Alright, cool. So, Bard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 9 roles are on Bard. Of course, my suggestions: Bardic Voices by Mercedes Lackey, Foul is Fair by Catherine Perkins and Jeff Cook, and The Phantom of the Opera. Because, of course, The Phantom of the Opera. Just start thinking of whatever Phantom song you like. If you want to play a good singing Bard, just start looking at the Phantom. Yeah, Bards. Bards are great. Play complexity, off-table complexity, charisma, dexterity, intelligence, your standard Bard, Lem. Included in Bard archetypes are the best archetypes. Archaeologist, Daredevil, Detective, Fire Dancer, Magician, Negotiator, Sound Striker, Thought Singer, Word Chanter, Prankster, and Water Singer. And if I look in 2 of the other files that aren't probably not going to pop up on screen, they're not. One, I'm going to hiccup. We will be adding the Resonant song tonight to that. And the... There's another one. Where is it? We will be adding the... Where did it go? Where did it go? The Phrenologist and the Silver Balladeer. Amongst some others. So, the Bard is getting expanded tonight. Of course, the racial ones, Pranksters are Gnome Bards, Water Singers are Merg and Undini Bards. It's officially an Undini, but I'm adding the Merg just because it's fun. I didn't add the Demagogue because I was thinking about it, and I realized that with the style of game I run with the kids, the Demagogue does not fit. It just doesn't work with the style of game we run with the kids. They don't have a home base. Bards are not OP, Grass Cheese. Bards are underpowered, because they are split in so many ways. However, I will admit that Bards are closer to even than they were since the addition of replace certain skills with a performance skill, which is an amazing thing to add. Druids, also known as Cleric, but nature. Hippie Clerics. Bjorn from The Hobbit, we include here. High Druid of Shannara, The Jungle Book, and Tarzan, I both include as Druid influences. Celebrity we also ruled out, yes. If we scroll back up a little bit to the Bard for JT, I might make a suggestion for you, JT, for your oratory board: Negotiator. First of all, Druids are Clerics. For 2 editions of the game, they were built into the Cleric class. Beyond that, I'm going to throw this out there, Red, because Red is in the chat, for those of you who aren't looking at the chat, that saying Druids are messed up nature hippies who will cut you with magic. I will throw this out there. Clerics include snake handlers and crusaders. Keep that in mind. So yes, Druids will cut you with magic. So will Clerics. Not every Cleric is Mr. Rogers. Not every Druid is Bob Ross. Okay? Okay. Moving on. Plus, Druids come with a leopard. Or a bear. or an Ankylosaurus. I don't know about you, but if somebody told me their religion gave me an Ankylosaurus, I would greatly consider it. Because I love Ankylosauruses. Of course, here we include the terrains and totems, because that really composes it. Ancient Guardians are fun. They just destroy technology. Gaians are psychically connected to the planet itself, and to all animals. They're fun. You'll also notice that I included the Words of Power as an archetype on almost every spellcasting class. That is important. And the reason that is important is because I wanted to put it in a way that Words of Power were not an afterthought. Feral Children are fun, because Tarzan. Also, Tree Singers are fun when you realize that being able to turn into any plant monster includes the Migos from H.P. Lovecraft. The fungi of Yugoth count as a plant monster. In fact, hold up a moment, because I need to get y'all the Migos. That this is, in all honesty, a plant. The thing I'm about to show you is, in fact, a plant. It should not be a plant, but it's a plant. It is 100% a plant. Because reasons. I realize now, I saved that picture to the wrong category. And it will come back to haunt me now. Well, where did it go? Shit. I lost the picture of the plant. I lost it. Oh, here it is. Here is the plant. This thing counts as a plant. This terrifying monstrosity. Also, by some accounts, cactars are plants. Cactars are also known as terror. Terror incarnate. So, do of that what you will. Yeah, like y'all were expecting Groot, and instead, you got bat-winged, tentacle-faced trilobite asshole. Not a trilobite's asshole, that'd be disturbing. We're moving on, Gunslingers. Gunslingers got pushed into here because they are not like any of the other classes, but they are not one of the original four. For our suggestions here, the Dawn of Steam series by Jeff Cook. Sorry, I will admit, I'm buddies with Jeff Cook, but he writes wonderful stories. Oh yeah, that's the thing. The Migo are nice. Like, out of all of Lovecraft's creatures, the Migo are chill. They're very chill eldritch monstrosities. The Dark Tower, of course, you gotta include the Dark Tower. Fastest gun in the east, or the west, or the north, or the south. Anywhere, really. I like that line. It's silly, but I love it. Here's Lyrian, your standard gunslinger. Okay. Gunslingers have some of the best archetypes, and one of these is what you use if your GM does not allow gunslingers. So hear me out. And this is the argument you make. You go GM, Mr. GM here, or Miss GM, or Mux GM, if they are a gender fluid or gender neutral GM. You say, GM, I want to play gunslinger, and they go, well, there's no guns in my game. So you go, okay, I want to play a bolt ace. A bolt ace is technically a gunslinger with hand crossbows. So you're shooting arrows everywhere. You become Huntress from DC Comics, and it's fantastic. Okay, gun scavengers. They build guns out of scrap. Gun tanks. They're a tank. 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 There's some fun ones here. Mysterious Strangers have luck powers. Tech Slingers pull out ancient alien technology from starships. There's some great shit here. Experimental Gunsmiths. A lot of fun if your jam allows it. It's a gnome gunslinger. You can load vials of acid and alchemist fire into your rifle. One of the kids last year played one of those. I wish that kid would come back. Because, my god, the fun of her seeing a giant crab made of fire and her immediate action is, I'm going to load this frost bomb into my gun and hope for the best. That kid understood D&D better in that moment than most adults ever will. It was great. Inquisitor, I mentioned Read Sea of Death by Tim Wagoner. You're Judge Dredd. You're a Divine Judge Dredd. Sometimes with better tits than Judge Dredd, but you're a Divine Judge Dredd. Cool parts. Kill Fiends and Fae. Kill Unholy Magic. Kill do heretical things in the name of your god. That's fun. Break spells, break psionics. Okay, I want to double check, Red. When did you make a frost giant beat the crap out of its own mount? Greeno pie. That's the important part to keep in mind there, Grass Cheese. Kineticist. You're probably going to figure we need to fill in Kineticist tonight. Yes. Because at this point, its description reads verb words. I don't know about you, but verb words would not quite get me interested yet. Medium, same problem. Verb words. Firebeard. Fire wizards were like 20 minutes ago. You missed fire wizards. And honestly, we spent more time on wood wizards. Monk! Monk is like Gunslinger. They came in because reasons. Cleric Quintet, Monkey, A Folktale of China. Also Dragon Ball. Because... Ooh. That was one of the campaigns I ran, yes. The Giants riding Ice T-Rexes. I loved it. I was Snow Miser. Your standard Monk. Monk of the Empty Hand, Monk of the Four Winds, Monk of the Healing Hand, Monk of the Iron Mountain, Qingyong, also known as Piccolo. Tories, Zen Archers, Contemplatives, Raging Sea Disciples. A lot of fun monks. Oracle. Oracle's fun. Oracle is the exact opposite of the Dungeons & Dragons version. Dungeons & Dragons, the spontaneous cleric-y class, was the favored soul, which was picked by their god. The Oracle is the opposite. The Oracle is cursed by a god. And basically, they took it from being Moses to being Percy Jackson. Or more accurately, Cassandra. Kind of both, and it was kind of fun. To the point of, I mentioned right here, if you notice on the book suggestions, that Fair is Foul, because your main heroine has ADHD and song magic, or The Lightning Thief, because the hero has dyslexia and is a demigod. Both good things to go with an oracle. Firebeard, Desert Druids are very... Okay, both of you are saying Desert Druid. A Desert Druid would be a druid with the power to turn into gummy bears. You would have a giant gummy worm companion. A Desert Druid would come in on Sundays and throw hot fudge instead of fire blades. And damn it, I want a Desert Druid now. That sounds amazing. My god. Sorry, a Desert Druid, on the other hand. A Desert Druid, on the other hand, is very viable. And I can see why Red would come to the conclusion of playing a Desert Druid. Because we live in a chaparral. For those who don't know, the chaparral is a slightly less deserty desert. We are about 2 hours away from Death Valley, the desertiest of deserts. Y'all, we know deserts. Alright. Now, I got rid of the standard Oracle. Firebeard. Wizards with 2 Z's is Rincewind. So I made Cecilia, Human Oracle. She blind. Actually, I didn't really make her. I found the art online. Look how blind she is. Very blind. Yeah, Desert Druids have fire resistance, Firebeard. Y'all screwed. I do love the archetypes, because the archetypes typically have some terrible version of a curse on top of the normal curse. And it's amazing. Okay, Paladins. Fighter, but magic. Once and Future King, for Sir Galahad and Sir Lancelot. Song of the Lioness, Phallus Farragon, in the case of Justin. Again, really pushing my friends' books. Go read them. They're great. There's Sela. One thing that's getting added here today, the Grey Paladin. Also, if you ever want to play a Tengu Paladin, be a Tengu Yamabushi. Because you're a nature paladin, that's a crow. Yeah, Firebird, we got the joke a while ago. That's why we've been talking about desert. And it was corrected. You think you missed a step. Scion, because I love psionics. And I know some people in the chat, Red, hate psionics, but I love psionics. Okay. Psionics is not magic. Psionics is like magic. Okay. I picked this girl to be our main Scion because the Scion that came with the Psionics book is fugly, and I wanted to even out the gender balance. Scion's fun, especially because you have the Arcane Mind, which is a Scion who doesn't realize he's a Scion. Thinks he's a wizard. They're fun. Then you have Runecasters, which is, how do I play Psionics without being Psionic? Use the Rune classes. That's where we are. Psychic. Nothing to do with Psionics. This is Paizo stuff. You need to fill that in. Look at these archetype descriptions. They're not very descriptive. Ranger, y'all know Rangers. But, come back. There we go. Hatchet, My Side of the Mountain, Icewind Dale Trilogy. The 3 Bibles of the Ranger. Here's your normal guy, Harsk the Dwarf and Ranger. I like the fact that they picked a dwarf for their iconic in Pathfinder. It really does make more sense. JT, you do not know Rangers? I will explain Rangers. Rangers are, how to put? Rangers are Rangers are to paladins what druids are to clerics. However, they are not the defenders of nature. They were originally, they're not anymore. They're hunters. Their job is to go around and hunt things, and magic is not their biggest deal. It's a side note for them. To the point of, Trapper Rangers give up their spells to be Green Arrow, and it's amazing. So, very, very fond of Rangers. Rangers also always have a fighting style. Sometimes it's using 2 weapons at once, sometimes it's sword and board. My favorite one's bear wrestling, because you want to know how you prove you're badass? Wrestle a bear. Aragorn would be a ranger, yes. Aragorn would be a ranger, as would... I can't think of his name. I am blanking on the name. Yeah, Rangers' whole deal is hunt the thing. It's exactly what they are. Urban Rangers are bounty hunters. Witch Guards are Rangers that get more magic to help protect witches. They're fun. I like Rangers. We have Sorcerers. Y'all know Sorcerers. Sorcerers are born with magic. Sorcerers are less Hermione, more Harry. They have monster blood in them. They do creepy things like talk to snakes. They're great. Look at this one. She's pulling her familiar out of her tattoos. And of course, the big thing with sorcerers is bloodlines. They don't really get archetypes, they get bloodlines. What monster are you built out of? Sometimes it's not a monster. Sometimes it's... your ancestor was a great bard, or a great wizard, or a great hero, or had a star born over them. Sometimes they died. Sometimes they were covered in nanomachines. Sometimes your ancestor screwed a fae. Or a demon. Or a dragon. Sorcerers are great. Sorcerers are proof that humans will sleep with anything. Soul Knives, the best psionic class, thematically. Because the Soul Knife does not really use psionic powers. He just wills weapons into existence and keeps cutting things with them. It's great. And we actually had a Soul Knife for a long time. The Soul Knife player now plays a kineticist. but he very much enjoyed his Zeph soul knife named Bacon. Remember, these are 12-year-olds. Bacon is a totally fine name for a Zeph soul knife. He was very fond of using 2 weapons at once, and then just starting to chuck knives at people as they ran to him, and once they got close, turn it into a giant energy blade and smash him in the face. He was very fond of playing Bacon. And there's some very fun ways to twist him with the archetypes. Armored blades change some of their sword into armor. Attenuators do the whole thing where it cuts through your soul, and so it's non-lethal damage. Cutthroats are assassins. Feral Hearts are Wolverine. Or actually closer to Lady Deathstrike. But Wolverine. Actually Sabretooth. Feral Hearts are Sabretooth. That's the best way to put it. Rune Blades are, of course, the magic version, because remember, runes equal magic psionics. Soul Bolts. Make a soul bow, like that one dude from Bleach. Which is kind of awesome. And War Souls are guys who just go nuts with the martial arts training with their soul knife, with their mind blades. It's great. Soul knives, totally awesome. Summoner. There's one problem I have with the Summoner, and it's that the main iconic for the Summoner, his main summon is a giant chicken snake. He's also a silly gnome, Balazar. And yet, I've grown to love them. They're one of the most complex classes. I'm going to put it this way. The best way to consider your Eidolon, considering an Eidolon is not an animal companion. An Eidolon is, for all intents and purposes, Genie with no wishes. It's Genie from Aladdin. With no wishes. You get a buddy who helps you out all the time, and might be Robin Williams. I personally think that's the best thing. And what it is, you know, all kids have an imaginary friend. Sometimes it's not an imaginary friend. It's a blob of soul energy that tied to a child's imagination. Yep. Broodmasters create minions instead of an Eidolon. We call them minion summoners. First Worlders summon Fae. Master Summoners don't have an Eidolon, they just summon bazillions of monsters. It's a little different, but they're fun. Scroll down, the Vizier is almost filled in. Viziers are fun, they create magical effects based off of the... How do I put it? Like... I guess think the Force, but instead of lightning or shoving people, it's more of they can summon the soul of a dragon into themselves through the Force and then breathe fire. Or fly. They're fun. Warders are about half done. The first top part is done. The second part down here... Oh, actually, I take it back. Warders are done. You have to do Warders. Warders are martial artists, completely trained in protecting people. They are our main martial maneuver class. In 3rd edition, there was a book introduced called the Book of Nine Swords. It was meant to bring up all of the martial classes to be spellcasters without being spellcasters. Very, very fun. Very, very cool. They used a lot of kung fu tropes when they did that. The Warder, as such, has a lot of those tropes built into it. And they're like the anime characters who get to yell out their attacks before they use them. There's a reason why people like to call Book of Nine Swords and then later Path of War the Book of Weeaboo Fightin' Magic. This is the Book of Weeaboo Fightin' Magic. The Warmind. It's called the Psychic Warrior in the book, but then Psychic changed names. So there was the Warmind Prestige class, but nobody likes the Warmind Prestige class because it sucks. So, Psychic Warrior's Warmind now. Deal with it. They get to do cool shit. One of my favorite characters back when we did it in 3.5 played a Psychic Warrior who had a big crystal greatsword that he would coat with acid and then fill with psychic power and then smack things with. I don't know about you, but if you had some big old guy wielding a giant greatsword made out of black crystal that then started to glow purple and sizzle in the air, and then it hit your buddy, and your buddy became a crater, a big acid-coated crater, you're not going to have a good time after that. Yeah, you remember that guy. That was one of the Chris's. He was a fun character. His brother was like a lightning-themed dude, but he himself was a great guy. I have replaced the iconic from a dude with a spear to a woman with a glowing sword, because I think that looks a whole lot cooler. And again, I don't want girls thinking this is purely a boys' club, because it is 100% not. Ladies, if you ever want to play Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons, do not let people stop you. People should not stop you from enjoying things you like. That's how it is. And men, the corollary is true as well. We can like Sex in the City all we want. No one can stop us. Alright. So, next up is... Oh, sorry. In the Warmind archetypes, there's actually some very fun ones. As I scratch my lips because it hurts. But we're going to jump past those, except for the Tracer, because it's basically Tracer. Spry, plucky warriors who specialize in dodging blows and annoying enemies. Cheers, love, the cavalry's here. Hey, look, Red. Look where we are. Look who we got to. Peter, you are allowed to like Desperate Housewives, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright, we're at the Witch. Witch is fun. Witch is creepy wizard. This is the Witch iconic we're using, because she's not showing nearly as much cleavage as the main Witch, who is in some really fetishy shit. Very fun to look at, but doesn't go over well with the parents. So I had to name Rumi and her Alch to be her familiar. Also, look at that owl. Just a badass owl. I would even say this owl is superb. This is a superb owl. Fun things with the Witch. You can play a beast-bonded Witch. You can play a Witch that has a full-on animal companion. You can play a Hex Channeler. You can use hexes to create pure energy of light and life. There's a lot of fun witches. White hair witches have magical hair. Magical hair, like Medusa from the Inhumans. It's great. Winter witches. The snow falls white on the mount tonight. I'm not singing the rest of it. Okay. Now we're in the advanced classes. Invoker I don't have in there yet. Invoker has to be added soon. Okay? Look. Edge Witch, Hex Channeler, Mountain Witches. I'm showing you guys what's already set up before we get into adding things. Advanced classes. These are removed a step further than the base classes. The Aegis. This is a step further than the Soul Knife. They make Iron Man suits with their minds. Just let that sink in for a moment. Iron Man suits with their minds. Suits of armor that shoot laser blast and crystals. Yes, I do have the picture you finished of the Witch, Red. It is a very good picture. And you can see Red making that picture in one of the old episodes of Red Puts Art in Your Face. It was fun. It was very fun. Now, one thing is there is an Aegis archetype you will not see in here. That is the Aberrant. The Aberrant, instead of turning into Iron Man, turns into the Hulk. I did not include the Aberrant. You will see why later. The Cavalier. I know Cavalier should be one step removed, but he's not. He's 2 steps removed. He's the Paladin with all the knightly trappings, but less magic. He was too hard to explain. Here he is. He is your non-magical knight. He is the come at me bro knight. And Beast Riders, by the way, are knights who ride rhinoceroses and dinosaurs. And if you are not playing one, you are fooling yourself into thinking that you're playing a knight right, because you're not. You have to be a knight on a T-Rex. I'm sorry. Okay. Standard Bearers are fun. Wave Riders are fun. We'll get to the race book later. Chokmerg are a lot of fun. They are not an official race. They are something I introduced to the kids by taking Mexican mermaid myths and mixing it with half mermaids to make shark mermaids. Because reasons. Cryptics are fun. Cryptics are psionic characters who can tear apart the patterns of reality and get cool tattoos in the process. Yep. Scrolling down. Davix. Davik I just finished earlier, though I'm not 100% done with the passion section. They don't have any archetypes yet. It bothers me. I actually had to Photoshop in the auras. I didn't do the best job. I understand that. But I needed it to make these look like they were veils that he weaved. Davix. Actually, Red, I think if you were to play an Akashic character, you'd like the Davik. They find an ancient creature made of pure emotion and bind it to their soul so that the Deva can live a new life and they can wield its amazing emotional power, but it overwhelms them. And the basic emotions are desire, wrath, and... shit, what's the third one? Desire, wrath, and... okay, I'm looking it up. Dominion, which... desire can evolve into love or avarice, dominion into benevolence or tyranny, and wrath into justice or vengeance. Vengeance! Right, very fun. I just realized now he has crotch antlers. Okay, so moving on. The Dread. The Dread is the Sith of psionics. They wield fear. They're the Sinestro Corps. They're fun. Yeah, basically the Davix are Anders. They're Anders plus Bleach. Yeah. I haven't seen Anders personally, but I've heard of Anders. This is the picture I'm using for the Dread. The Dread iconic they gave us in the book kind of sucked. I wasn't fond of it. Just look at this guy. He's got the cool psychics infused sword. Best thing with with dreads, at least the standard dread, is they can touch you and cause your kidneys to shut down by flooding you with fear. Unless they're a nightmare constructor, in which case they are a summoner scion who creates constructed nightmares. Guru, I'm about half done with. The Guru is the touchy-feely, friendly Akashic class. They get bonuses by not doing lethal damage. Then they get more bonuses by continuing to do non-lethal damage to the same guy. Harbinger, bad luck plus martial arts equals yay. Because you're Jinx, or the Black Cat. Take your bad luck, give it to other people. Historian, it's really called the Occultist. I can't call it the Occultist with the kids. It's how it is. They are basically the Winchester brothers meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A lot of fun there. Marksman, one part Katniss, one part psychic person. As much as I like the Marksman, the best part of the Marksman is its archetypes, especially the Cannoneer, because they get to wield a goddamn cannon. They are heavy weapons, guy. They are Zarya. This is Zarya, the class. Then you have Kai Guns, which they can reload their 6-shooters with their brains. My buddy Jacob pointed this out to me. There's a race called the Kasatha. They have 4 arms. A Kai Gun Kasatha is terrifying, because they get to attack with each gun, each turn. 4 6-shooters. Reload with brain. Rinse and repeat. Yep. Mesmerist, you're getting sleepy. Stalker. They like to stay outside monsters' windows, take pictures of them undressing. Bit of a creepy class, in all honesty. Not 100% fond of them. That's not true, that's a joke. The Stalker is the sneaky martial artist class. So take that what you will. I made it a girl Stalker. I didn't like the boy Stalker. He was very plain looking. Stalker's done. I'm glad with the fact Stalkers are done. Tactician. Connect people's brains, make them better fighters. That guy looks okay. Moving on. Actually, was there a good one with them? I guess Battle Medics. Vigilantes. Batman. No, Batman. And one of the archetypes is Sailor Moon. Totally serious. There's a Sailor Moon class in Pathfinder now. Vitalist. Suck up people's wounds and then heal yourself. It's weird, but it's fun. Warlord. Warlord is weird. Because Warlord... What, Red? What is the what related to? Is that related to the fact there's a Sailor Moon class? It's in Ultimate Intrigue, called the Magical Child. Because Red has requested it, I'm going to explain the Magical Child here. Once the other window opens. Okay. So, Magical Child has two forms. One is the social form, which has basically no real magical powers unless you're willing to lose your magical powers. They get spellcasting, like an Unchained Summoner. They get a transformation sequence to change between things, and an animal guide, which is like a familiar that talks to them. Typically looks like a normal animal. Sometimes it's an outlandish animal. And then after third level, when you transform the magical creature, the familiar turns into an improved familiar when you're in Magical Child form. And then here's where it gets weirder. Unlike most familiars where it dies and you have to find a new familiar, the Magical Child makes a new body for its dead familiar. Yep. And then the familiar gets the startling appearance powers and other such from the Magical Child. A lot of fun. Just a hell of a lot of fun. In fact, I'm going to see if I can pull up the art for the Sailor Moon class here real quick. Just so y'all can see it. Pathfinder Magical Child. Images. Here she is. So I will point out, there's already fan art of people's Magical Childs. Magical children? Magical children. I don't know about you. I enjoy that fact. I enjoy the fact that other people are already making magical children of their own to share with people so that they can all see. That is way too big, Magical Child. Let's shrink you down so people can see your adorable baby leopard companion. People can see that you are basically Native American Sailor Moon. I love it. I love it so much. Yep. Just a lot of fun there. And then, 1 second as I readjust the pictures. Great. Okay, moving right along. Warlord. Warlord is a combination of two of the most American things in the world. On the one hand, Captain America. Being impressive, fighting to impress people, to inspire. The other thing, the Warlord gets powers from doing things that are typically preceded by three of the most American words ever. Hold my beer. The Warlord gets bonus points for successfully doing stupid shit. And those bonus points are used to augment their allies. And I kinda love it. As I itch my lips. Wilder. Wilder's fun. Look at that Wilder art. Look at her. Great. Wilders are basically Carrie. To the point of, for a while there, I had Carrie as the book for Wilders. But I realized that wasn't appropriate for 5th graders. But, why are we back at oh, because I didn't move the damn cursor. Ugh. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Scrolling, scrolling. Here we go. Very, very fun, the Wilder. Very pretty dress on the Wilder. I like the dress. They get to do fun things. Then we have the hybrids. Hybrids are classes that are half one class, half another. That's why they're removed from everything else. So Arcanist. This is your sorcerer wizard. Basically Schmendrick. She's cuter than Schmendrick, but it's Schmendrick from the last unicorn. That's the Arcanist. Also, the White Mage is included in here. The Wizard who heals. Isn't that great? I think that's great. Blood Rager. Blood Rager is a sorcerer who gets angry and hits things like a barbarian. It's great. And they're honestly kind of fun. By kind of fun, I mean a lot of fun. Brawler. Monk Fighter. They punch all the things. Look at her, ready to punch all the things. I don't know why so many of the bottom of these lost their bolding. Hunter. Another powerful red-headed lady. Hunters are druid rangers, who can also get animal powers. Because why not? Seriously, why not? I have no reason why they shouldn't. Investigator. Sherlock Holmes, the class. Historically accurate Sherlock Holmes, the class. Full on doing coke to be better at detective work, Sherlock Holmes, the class. Unless you're a sleuth, then you use guns to be better at being a detective. Yep. Magus. Wizard fighter. Not somebody who fights wizards. A wizard who fights things. Shaman. Kind of a witch oracle? Which is, like, weird, but it's kind of great. Yeah. Skald. They're the barbarians. They cause people to rage with their songs. They cause mosh pits. Slayers. They're assassins from Assassin's Creed. Except for bounty hunters, who don't kill things. Because reasons. Spiritualists I don't have in here yet. They're ghost summoners. They summon ghosts. As in, somebody dies, becomes psychically attracted to that person, and then doesn't die, and turns into their summon. And the iconic is an old woman who summons her dead boyfriend, who died when they were young. It's very sad. Swashbuckler. They'll buckle your swash. Of course, The Princess Bride is listed as one of the books for a swashbuckler. Because why wouldn't it be? If you wouldn't list that, you're wrong. As a person. Scrolling down. The War Priest. They're priests of war. I played one of these. They're fun. Alternative classes. Remember back at the Aegis, I said you'll realize why one of their archetypes is missing? Spiritualist, one of their archetypes is going to be missing too. But one of the Aegis archetypes, the one where he turns into the Hulk, I thought felt too much like its own class. So it is now an alternative class in my games. And because of that, I modified the other archetypes so that they can do this and become aberrants with other things, like fusion warriors, who have a locus, a small node of elemental energy. I listed way too many elemental energies. Brought to life with mental energy, and their monster form relies on being able to fuse into a monster together. Or the Skin Shaper, who can use the extra biomass and life energy that their monster forms are made of and change it to web up foes, grow organic items to back together, rip off a chunk of themselves to make a flesh warrior. And I'm just throwing this out there for those of us who remember being small children. Think of how gross and cool that is, of a dude who can, like, grow an extra chunk of skin, rip it off of himself, and create this blobby thing that turns into a tiny version of himself. And just runs around slapping things. Like a little fleshy baby Groot. Which I guess is just a baby, now that I've said it out loud. Little naked Stretch Armstrong clone baby, like from Venture Brothers. The clone soldiers from the Venture Brothers, that's exactly what this is. It's terrifying. Ninjas, they're the alternative rogues. Onmyoji are going to be the alternative spiritualists. Samurai are the alternative cavaliers. Okay, so we've gone through the whole goddamn folder now. It only took us forever. As I erase some of these, there we go. That was a whole hour. So yeah, I realize it takes about an hour to get through this thing. Understandable. But, side effect is that all of this stuff is going to be used to help the kids pick out their own characters. Now, when a kid first joins our group, they don't get their own character. I know that seems weird, but the big reason why is that we kind of decided on it that it's easier for them to just start with a pre-made character. And I know, not everyone likes that idea. But it makes things so much faster for them to go along and... Oh, did I write Vizier? I meant to write Vitalist. To just go along and... yeah, basically just start off with a character and hit the ground running. So I made a bunch of pre-made characters. That's what the kids use when they first join us. That's what they do. I just realized I put the chat off to the side. There we go. There's a Girl Scout cookie cereal. My god. Like they want me to stay fat. Like everyone wants me to stay fat. Okay, so notice we're going boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, there we are. Guru and Harbinger are over here. Hi, Dave. Yeah, you mentioned that you watch coding things. That's basically what we're doing here. Except it's not coding. It is getting the folder ready for my Pathfinder after-school program that I run for the kiddies. By that I mean children, not cats. Cats are surprisingly not good at playing Pathfinder. Who would have thought? Right now we're fixing the table of contents. Not the most riveting thing in the world, but here we are. Darn it. There we are. And Stalker gets put over here. Go. There we go. So yeah. This is what we're working on. In another window that I'm not bringing up just because copyright reasons, honestly. I'm reading the Pathfinder stuff and then moving over short versions of it. Right now, we're gonna go, damn it. That's what you get when you don't hit the right button. Somebody tells you don't need to always hit the right button. They're wrong. You always need to hit the right button. This is the Davik card again. So we're putting in the next Davik Passion, which is Dominion. Dominion Devas. And they want to impose order. There we go. I also just realized that the way I have this set up, it covers the chat. I can't have that with it covering the chat. So, I'm going to fix my spare window there. There we are. What's Shokugeki? Like, I honestly want to know. Does anyone know what Shokugeki is? I think he left. Somebody tell me what Shokugeki is. I need to know now. Dominion. Hopefully kids don't read into that one too much. Okay, thank you, Dave, for putting that in the Discord. For those of you who are new or came here later, that's a nice drill, Red. I just saw that in the Discord chat. Going through the Discord chat real quick. Seeing what's in there right now. Shugeki no Soma. Oh, okay. Food Wars. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. My lip is itchy. Okay, so he meant Shugeki no Soma. I knew that. I knew what that thing was. Who's still in the chat? Tell me who's here. People, who are you? Red? Peter? Other people? Anyone? Nightbot? Please, Nightbot, answer me. Nightbot makes David win, because David's the last person to talk. Alright. Justice Davix get. Justice gives a Davik. Oh! Oh, dang. I did not spell overwhelm properly. Damn it. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. There we go. Feeling alone. Just me and Nightbot. Not expecting it to be just me and Nightbot. Yvonne is in the chat talking about how much she wants to respect iPhone, and I want to talk her out of it. That's why it's just me and Nightbot. Everyone left me. I see how it is. How it is. It's okay. It's okay. Not everything has to be like that. I am wondering, real quick. YouTube, why? Why are you talking about the Super Bowl ads? Nobody wants to watch the Super Bowl ads. I don't think anyone in their right mind likes Super Bowl ads. Yet here we are, with Super Bowl ads. It's weird. And here I am, grabbing my own stream to put into the chat so people will watch me. That's what I do, I guess? Yep. Yep. Okay. Oh, grass cheese. I'm hiccuping a little bit. I don't know how you not procrastinate, but you can continue to watch me work on this, because this is how I don't procrastinate. This seemed a lot more beneficial to me than just playing Overwatch again. Personal opinion. Wasn't expecting you to come back, Grass Cheese. I'm glad to see you. Alright, Guru. I gotta find the Guru. Guru. Here we go, Guru. The biggest thing with the Guru, I'm noticing. Need to go like this. Copy that. Boop, boop. Alright. Main ability scores for a Guru will not be Charisma. I want to say a Guru's is based on Wisdom. Unbold that. There we go. And do Gurus get... They get light armor, so Dexterity should definitely still be in there. And I'd say Constitution as the last one. I don't like this first one. I'm gonna get rid of our first reason there. I'm fine with you listening to me, man. I'm cool with you being here. I mean, sometimes I'm gonna go silent because I'm just typing, but it's all fun. If you ever want, just yell in the chat. I'm here to listen. That works. And one thing is I realized that these are not the right books for this. If anything, the best books to put in for a Guru would be Bleach. I want to say Bleach is by Tite Kubo? I believe Bleach is Tite Kubo. Nope. There we go. Interests? Pathfinder. What we're doing here. You make cosplay Grass Cheese. That's interesting. I make giant folders of Pathfinder stuff, apparently. But, whoops. Oh, wait. Do they get key? They do not get key. Oh ho. Changed. There we go. Base, out, striker. Yeah, just take out support. There we go. Cool part with the Guru, my opinion. They are basically a class of martial artists who are able to... well, one, they're martial artists who are not entirely based on East Asia. They are based on the Middle East. A lot of fun. Okay, one second. Akashic Guru. Thank you. So, you know what? I realized that they have the little dwarf with a spear. Kinda digging this Samsarin. Probably shouldn't use the Samsarin, but I'm digging the Samsarin. There's also a really cool Oread picture I could use. Be a good way to introduce the Oreads. I need to find... You know what would help? Let me search for a monk. Pathfinder monk. Go. I don't want the main monk. I think I want this guy? Yeah, I know I'm not attributing the art here. I know that's sacrilegious. Sorry. But for using this with the kids, I'm not worried about it too much. Probably should be, but I'm not. Because, like, the kids don't worry about that stuff. They just need to look at the pictures. Now, if I was doing this for, like, an official book, I would buy the art. I have bought art for official books that I'm saying official, not, like, official. Not like Paizo made it official. But stuff I make. I got stuff for that I Oh, that's a nice dwarf monk. I like this dwarf monk better than that dwarf monk. Yeah, I'll use this one. Great. Using... I lost my train of thought. Shit. I bought actual artwork to use for the ones that I'm making. Because I wouldn't want to... Well, one, I want it to be legal. And two, I'm hoping to get paid. I believe that means that the people who did the art should get paid. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't pay for art when it is, you know, not for personal use. If it's just personal use, I don't give a shit. But if you're not paying for art and it is like something you're doing professionally, or something that you're selling professionally, I should say, what is wrong with you, man? Oh, I need a good dwarf name. Shit, what's a good dwarf name? What do you mean by bare knowledge? Grass cheese? Like, I'm very confused by that. I think I'm misunderstanding what you mean by bare. Because to me, bare knowledge means almost no knowledge. How old are the kids? The kids range from about 10 to 14. They're pretty well-behaved kids. Wait, why are you gonna shank me? Oh, because I've studied this immensely. That's how I know a lot of this off the top of my head. As everyone else was doing actual studies, I was kind of dicking around and playing Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and Aeroflight and all the other RPGs. For the monk name, I'm using a dwarf name generator from fantasynamegenerators.com. I want male names. Gulguk sounds good, but that's a little weird. Werelak. Thufram. Rustrid. Barnat. Hassan. Butdrek. Book. Nozat. Nazuth. I like Nazuth. Oh, Gonna Shank You. No, I'm not gonna use Gonna Shank You as the monk name. That is a little on the nose. Okay. Guru does not have archetypes. As such, I need to put in what the Guru the philosophies are. So fees. Guru philosophy. Philosophies. Oh, let me pull the chat back up so I can see you. I'm sorry. I like the name for Gonna Shank You for, like, a personal character, but not for what I'm gonna put into this. Personal opinion there. Akasin. Philosophy. How do I word that? Finds a guru to the use of radiance and light. Well as healing. Power. It's in sunlight and meditating therein, including giving them the ability to magically add intense light to their attacks, burning their enemies. Now, mind you, I should also mention one of the other windows I have open is some of the Pathfinder books. The point of these is to digest the Pathfinder books into something easy, much like a mother penguin chewing up fish and spitting it into a baby's mouth. That is what this is. This is spitting into a baby's mouth. Yes. Sometimes I say things that will be taken out of context, and I don't care. I really do not care. I will continue to say things out of context. Oh, yes. Yes, I will. That's kind of part of the fun, honestly. Saying weird things like that, out of context. Throwing it at people. Racial. Oh, the racial archetypes. I'm not going to deal with the racial archetypes on this one, because there are none. But some classes have... archetypes are parts of classes that are alterable. Some have special combos combine with certain... some certain combos of classes and races unlock certain archetypes that are unavailable otherwise. Excuse me. You've been made a meme? Grass cheese? How so? I'm a little sleepy, I'll be honest. I want to get through this book. This set of rules, at least. Alright, and then we have the Vast. Now, I will probably work on this a bit more tomorrow. I have to get this ready by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Actually, that's not entirely true. I need to have the character sheets ready for the kids tomorrow, but I already have a lot of the character sheets done. Our current group, I should tell you what the kids are playing. Our current group includes an Ironborn fighter, so big old nasty robot dude with a big hammer. A human fighter, because sometimes you need a blank canvas to do cool things. What else? A Catfolk rogue, because Khajiit has wares. Let's see here. A Obitu, or skeleton person, hydrokineticist, because one of the kids likes Undertale and Avatar. Why wouldn't he? They're both wonderful franchises. Who am I forgetting? We have an Orc Barbarian, a human half-orc cleric. Half-orc cleric of luck and strength. And a half-elf bard. A lot of fun with those guys. I know I'm forgetting somebody, though. No, I think that's everyone. That's everyone. Oh, every once in a while we have another catfolk join us, though that kid actually wants to replace it with a half-elf cleric, but they have more heals. He wants to be an animal cleric, so he has a cool animal buddy in around with him, which I think is great. And honestly, the fun part is that the kids push themselves at this point. They know if they do extra things, they get extra stuff to do. So some of the kids are doing extra art, some of them are writing. Hey look, leaf on the wind. Sorry, Firefly fans, I almost called it Waterfall. That's not the name, that's the opposite. What about elves? Grass cheese, what about elves? And honestly, these folders help. And it seems stupid that something like this folder helps. But it does. It gives the kids something to latch onto. It gives them something to think of and go, hey, I want to play this kind of guy. Hey, I want to play this kind of guy. And it's kind of fun to see them come out with these great ideas. Like, the fighter, the human fighter, picked a human fighter originally because that was the pre-made character, but stuck with it because he started getting equipment, started building himself a certain way, and now he's just like this master of combat at 3rd level. And I can tell this kid's gonna build himself into something astonishing later. Though, actually this kid I don't think would go for pyrokineticist. There are some who I'm fairly certain would. In Dungeons and Dragons and such, there is something called a prestige class. It's like a class on top of a class. And if you get prerequisites, you can replace some of your levels in your current class with the prestige class. Which is pretty useful. I'm not going to deny that. The big advantage to doing that is you can get cool powers nobody else gets. The downside to doing that is you lose powers that you normally would get. So, there you go. It is it is getting late. It's only 8:30, but I think it's too late for me to keep working. My brain is not functioning with work. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm going to cut my losses, I'm going to take a small break, I'm going to come back, and... I think I should play something. I don't know what something is, but I think I should play something. Part of me is tempted to say that something should be No Man's Sky, because I haven't played that in a while. Part of me is tempted to say that something should be Overwatch, because we're almost done with Chinese New Year. I don't know, there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back. Thank you everyone who came and watched me put some Pathfindery stuff together. I definitely appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully in the near future we will be able to run an actual Pathfinder game with my co-hosts. We're making plans. Hint, hint. It'll be fun. We'll do fun things. Thank you guys for hanging around for an hour and a half. And hope you all have a wonderful evening. Myself, like I said, taking a break. I might come back and play a little No Man's Sky or something. I also gotta call my grandma. I should call my grandma. So I'm gonna call my grandma, and I'll be back. Bye, everyone. Oh, old Pappy. Wait, before I go, like I said, hang out in a little bit. I'll be back in probably about 30 to 45 minutes with a game of some kind in a stream. See ya.